Welcome to Reddit Stories Vault, your portal to the most captivating, bizarre, and heartwarming tales from the depths of the internet. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on your favorite stories, and stay tuned for our latest uploads. Thanks for joining us on this exciting adventure. Now let's dive into the vault.
This story is a story of the grandfather of a good friend of mine, and how he dealt with his inheritance in a very unique way. He had 2 sons, and each of them also had 2 sons. In the last year of his life, my friend and I visited every morning and every evening. You see, he didn't want to go into a retirement home. And apart from getting ready in the morning and in the evening, he did not really need help. Now, I need to explain something real quick so it makes more sense. Back in the day, we still had mandatory service in the army for 12 months. However, there was several ways around it. I will explain the most common way and what happened with me, since it is connected to the story. You see, instead of going to the army, you could refuse to go for ethical reasons, which was really just a formality. You simply just wrote a 1-page essay about why you think you being in the army would violate your personal ethics, and then they pretty much had to accept it. But of course, that meant you had to go into civil service. Civil service could be any kind of job that, in a wider sense, is a service to society. So these jobs range from assisting in kindergarten classrooms to retirement homes, and anything in between. Things like hospitals, homes for the physically or mentally disabled, Meals on Wheels, pretty much anything you can imagine. You would be paid for that time, the same amount of money you would get in the army. And you had the right to certain perks like a free room, health insurance, work clothes, etc. The same stuff any soldier gets. Plus, since soldiers get free food, you either got free food or a food allowance. Well, I did my time in a retirement home, and it was an awesome experience. I think a job like that really widens your horizons as a young, arrogant turd. And really matures you, and shows you what is actually important in life. Moving forward back to the story, I had just finished my time in the retirement home. I did it for 1 year. I really wanted to look around for a new job and make some money. Then one of my best friends came to me and told me that he needs my help. His grandpa can no longer do everything by himself. He said he really only needs help in the morning to get ready, and in the evening before bed. Since I had learned how to do this from real professionals, he asked me to show him so his grandpa does not yet have to go into a retirement home. He later admitted Grandpa said he would rather kill himself than go into a nursing home, and he seemed really serious about it. He didn't tell me at the time since he didn't want to pressure me into helping him like that, which I really appreciated. He was one of my favorites. I really liked his grandpa. When I was younger, I didn't have a grandpa, but we visited him all the time, so he asked me if I wanted to be his unofficial 5th grandson. So, of course, I said yes. The original plan was to show him for 2 to 3 weeks and then observe him until he was ready. Then he would do it all on his own. But we ended up doing it together, for over half a year. Then Grandpa had a stroke and died within 2 days in the hospital. 2 days later, my friend asked me to come with him to the lawyer where the last will would be read. His grandfather had specifically that his will should be read the day before he gets buried, which is quite unusual, but not illegal as such. I asked why he wanted me there, and he told me the lawyer had actually invited me since Grandpa had left me something as a thank you for my service. I was a bit embarrassed, but also happy that Grandpa had thought so highly of me and my service. It turned out that Grandpa put me in his last will. Now, my friend's dad is an entitled butthole, and the same goes for his uncle. We both arrived there and went into the room. The entitled dad said to me, "Why the hell are you here? I know that dad called you his 5th grandkid, but this is for real family." Then he said, "I bet you are a little gold digger and hoped my dad would leave you some money in the will. I was asked to be here by the lawyer so you can take it up with him. I have no idea why I'm here. If you pull something to get his money, I will sue you so hard, even your kids will still need lawyers." My friend said, "Show some respect and stop shouting. I know you two did not really give a flip about your dad, but show at least a minimum of respect. How dare you talk like that to your elders? You little turd. You two get exactly as much respect from me as you showed your own father." None. He really shouted the last word, and it finally shut the two up. We sat down and still had to wait for the other 2 grandkids to arrive. The 2 sat right behind us, and what they talked about really made my blood boil. Apparently, they had gotten new cars, new jewelry for their wives, and had planned a huge holiday. All that was paid for by credit, and they had planned to pay for it with the inheritance. None of them said even a word about missing him. Not even being sad that he died, nothing, at all. Only me, and money. They seemed to be in competition as to who could spend the inheritance faster the way they planned away the money. Then finally, we were all there, and the lawyer read out a short letter. What I'll tell you here is a much shortened version, but the real thing was several pages. But it boils down to this. In recent years, I more and more realized that some people in my family cared a lot more about me than others. I am especially disappointed in my two sons, but I wanted to be really fair and not biased, so I came up with a point system. Each letter or phone call was 1 point, plus 1 extra if it is very long. Each visit was worth 2 points per hour plus 1 point per hour of travel to me and back. Helping me out with something was 3 points per hour. This is the final result over the last 3 years of my life. Entitled Dad, 8 points. Untitled Uncle, 10 points. Entitled's First Kid, a 150 points. Entitled Uncle's Second Kid, a 133 points. My Friend's Brother, 288 points. My Friend, 7,341 points. Me, 5,883 points. My lawyer has already liquidated most of my assets except the house. Once it is sold, the money will be divided by the points so we know what each point is worth. And then every person gets a share of the money according to his points. For about a minute, you could hear a pin drop. Then both Entitled Dad and Entitled Uncle started shouting at the time that they knew we would have pulled something, and this will would never stand. Of course, they tried to sue Entitled Uncle, his kids, and Entitled Dad together, but they lost. And there was a secret clause. Not really secret, it was simply not read to us that day. So nobody realized it was there since we all assumed everything was read to us on that day by the lawyer. The will said that if somebody sues against the will, he loses his share of the inheritance. It took nearly 3 years until all the lawsuits were over. I was blown away when we finally got the money. I am not naming a sum, but it was way more than I felt comfortable accepting. So I wanted to give at least some of it to the other 3 grandkids. But my friend finally convinced me to accept it by saying to me, "You cared for him when he needed without expecting anything for it, which makes you 10 times more his family than anyone." The sons got what they deserved.
And that wraps up another thrilling journey through the Reddit Stories vault. We hope you enjoyed these incredible tales from the depths of the internet. If you want more captivating stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you never miss an update from us.